Polite Inquiries. Andrew McGlashan, Jarrod Kimber, a Lord sign. Nicholas Charlin says, is Cook's batting affected by the pressures of captaincy when the team is under pressure, like Strauss?
Overall, there's very little difference. It has taken a hit over the last, the 10 tests against Australia and this first innings here. Let's not forget what he did in India.
What did he do in India?
Scored a lot of runs and England won. It is a vitally important summer for him to stamp his authority on how England play, and he needs to do that by runs himself.
Jeremy P says, should Root have stayed in the middle order last summer and allowed to develop his England career from there?
Yeah, I think he should. I thought it was a mistake to push him up to 3 in the Ashes. It was a bit forced upon England by Jonathan Trott going home. This was in the series in Australia. Of course, he opened last summer. I thought that was a mistake as well. So all in all, yes, I think they've handled Root quite badly. He's always looked quite settled.
He's a young man. Things go up and down. He's not consistent yet. James Connell says, if one could retroactively review all pre-DRS LBWs, would Bradman have averaged 35? Bells look high to the naked eye. If it was after Bradman, he would come back from the dead to probably review the ones he was given out
I think
of.
there'd be a few players of previous eras wishing they had DRS. For all the moaning that a lot of them do about DRS, I bet some of them secretly wish there was a few they could put the T signal up for.
I thought Bells was okay, actually. I didn't think it was that high.
It was close enough, but...
No. I think this is probably as good an answer you're going to get on a DRS question.
We don't really like DRS questions.
Neither does that driver. Omkar Mankemi says, is this the weakest Sri Lankan bowling attack to tour England? Hey, you weren't around in 1984, were you?
I think that's a harsh call. Shaminder Avanga's bowled well of late. They started well today. They tired in the final couple of sessions as it got a bit warmer and they bowled a lot of overs. But no, it's certainly not the worst. They're just bowling on what's quite a flat pitch.
English Nick says, can England discover a new talent using X Factor TV show a la Pradeep? I think he means actual talent in bowling and maybe not hairstyles.
In English cricket and certain organisations around the game have tried to dip into, say, the Asian cricket talent to try and find a mystery spinner. Of course, we've got one now in Moeen Ali, so we don't need to search for those anymore, do we?
I think you find reality TV shows in England usually involve a lot more moaning than playing cricket, but I could be wrong. Tom Banner says, who as a batsman is more beautiful, Ali or Bell?
I think that's almost a question for George Dobell. The much missed, I have to say, George Dobell. We have a lot of questions about where he is. He's
Who?
not been...
I don't think you can put Moeen Ali naked in a birdcage as I once did with Ian Bell, so I would say Bell.
His cover drive is still a thing to die for.
Yeah. The Cricket Cat says, what do you think is the logic behind England's batting order?
Well, the logic is they needed to get 7 batsmen in some order into the team. I guess the point you're getting at. I guess the point you're getting at is putting Balance at 3, Bell at 4. I was slightly surprised Balance hasn't batted at 3 at all for Yorkshire really in his career. I would have gone with Root at 3. How wrong would I have been? Look at what he's done at 5 today.
I think he'd be not out 150 had he batted at 3. Matthew Wright said, is Chris Woakes doomed to be the new Graham Onions, the perennial English 12th man?
It's a bit early to say that. He's getting a bit of a...
Say it tomorrow.
He's got a bit of a reputation of being in the squad, not making the final 11. I didn't think he'd ever make it in this game. We'll have to see how it goes. He's certainly a better red ball cricketer than a white ball cricketer. That sounds like a broken record, and so because a lot of people keep saying it, but he really is.
I think he's actually having someone in the modern age who still is 12th man lot is quite refreshing, really.
Well,
even though they don't really play. Yeah, they don't really 12th man, do they?
Well, no, he might not even be here now.
In fact, I think, rather than calling for the spirit of cricket, we should call for the spirit of the 12th man to come back, and I don't mean the comedy guy from Australia. Jamshad Arshad said, did England's attempt to keep the run rate up result in an early fall of wickets? Well, they didn't really lose that many wickets pushing early on. They just lost them in random ways.
I did sense a slight more intent with England's top order to
Would
go.
You say it was a new era?
3.5, 4. It was a new era, new way of playing, brave new world.
Yeah.
And maybe that played a part in maybe Balance's wicket. He was reaching out a bit for the ball, but wickets fall to new ball in Test match cricket. That's kind of what the bowlers are meant to do. That's why batting at the top is the toughest job. England was 73 for 3 today. Turned out okay in the end. The middle order did what they were meant to do and helped the side.
Stephen Mudge, if James Taylor's googly was better than Moeen Ali's Doosra, would he have played this test? I mean, James Taylor, I think he's been buried somewhere. What happened to him? I love James Taylor. I want him to come back. I want him to be on Polite Inquiries with me. James, if you're out there, you can come in at any time. Nash is not really working out. Nick has asked, do Sri Lanka deserve more than 2 tests in a summer where India get 5?
I think 2 test series are rubbish and should be abolished, but sadly the teams like when India visit, Australia visit, they pay the bills, and obviously there now is this big 3, so it doesn't look great when you've got a split like 2 and 5. Sri Lanka were, I think, originally scheduled to have 3 in this tour and India 4, but politics and money as it is has spoken, and unfortunately they're down to 2. I think it's really a shame.
Polite Inquiries. George Dobell, Jarrod Kimber, Kia Oval. Is Alistair Cook the worst English captain in the history of mankind?